Hello and welcome to my new video. Today I will share a small story how I spent my weekend after a long week of work, and I will enjoy small autumn days with my Hasselblad and Portra 400. Nevertheless, in this video I will not show any photos from this camera because this is not how the real life works. Most of the time, especially from 120 film, my shots lay down on a shelf in my fridge for a few months before I even processed them. And even if I have 12 shots in my camera, sometimes I just have one left and I don't really want to waste it for something not meaningful for me. Because I mostly print my photos and don't really care about scans, sometimes the process of art take a little bit longer than usual. And because now in Denmark we have a crazy short light day, let's move to the darkroom. Today I want to continue my printing series with the prints from my film what I developed last time. I have a huge backlog and unfortunately I'm not really satisfied with my work with the development for all of these roles, and in future I will just stick with the chemistry what I know, and probably this is a good idea to learn on my mistakes and implement some test strips and test developments. I think I already work on this level that I need a little bit more precision because time is precious and the materials is more precious than even the time. I found the frame from my negatives which should be completely off in the cyan channel. And as we discussed in the previous video, the scanning of this type of negatives is crazy hard task if you're using full spectrum light. But because in a printing of array 4 you have ability to filter light, you have much higher flexibility in dynamic range of each channel and exposure per each channel. Because we cut in exposure on each RGB channel separately, you can imagine you can work with a wide range of completely shifted color negatives. I usually start with a simple exposure strip with a 3 seconds interval on f11 on this particular magnification, and because I work on a paper which is size 20 by 25 and this is a maximum size what I can fit in my drum, I start with these small strips and get a little bit of idea what exposure I want to use in a final print. And as always I put everything in my lab book, and from there I usually go back to just check if I'm thinking in the right direction, if I feel I'm getting lost in the darkroom. For example, now I know I need to check cyan channel, and it means I will increase filtration to remove cyan, and if it will be not enough I will increase it up to the max, but also in addition you have a cyan channel on your photo enlarger. After first test prints it's quite obvious which direction you're going, and if you have experience, you actually need to just 2 strips to make a proper corrections. Now I see my corrections is moving in the proper direction, but probably they are still not enough. I still have a cyan tint in the highlights, and this is the most problematic part, because it's kind of impossible to get rid of this type of shift in the color. So in this case I'm just going a little bit crazy and I make cyan shift directly with the cyan channel, so I add up to 50 in cyan on the top cell and make a test print, and as you can see here it's more or less getting in a neutral position with the color. So let's try and print full scale print, and from there check if my colors is not off and if I have a manageable print. As you can see it's much better, but unfortunately high grade of the correction sometimes just ruin the color and ruin the exposure because you just over filter everything. But as you can see you can get a manageable print, and in the next big print I will try to make some shadowing to bring up the highlights in this print on the left side and on the right side, and in addition I will align the print a little bit better. And for some reason I have more satisfaction from my prints than from the scans, because if print is bad, it's mostly you, your exposure, your development, or paper printing. And in this case, I actually saved this shot and it's more or less usable. I really like the idea, how it works, how it looks. And this particular shot have this type of old school grain and old school vibe. Not really fully color, doesn't really look like digital shot at all, and at the same time it resembles some of the nature of the film which you can find in the black and white prints. And creating shadow by hand in this area, I actually saved a lot of highlights from the wall and I have more grain on the wall, and I'm pretty happy with this print. Thank you for watching and see you in the next videos.